Hello and welcome back to the garden. So we are now in March, and as at the moment temperatures are actually pretty low. We've had a -2 overnight, but as you can see the sun is out. So in this video I thought it would be really useful to show you the frost pockets in my garden. And at this time of year, because of the power of the sun is a little bit higher than it was in, say, sort of January and early February. Whenever the sun starts to come up in the morning, it will burn the frost off really quickly, but it will also emphasize the areas of the garden which are a lot cooler and shadier, and obviously in those areas the temperature is a lot slower to come up. So these effectively show you where the cooler areas are in your garden. Now, obviously, as later on, as we move through the year, we will find that some of the areas that don't get the sun first thing in the morning will obviously get the sun later on in the afternoon. The afternoon sun being a lot stronger, it generally will be warmer in those areas in the evening. So, as I say, as we move through the year, and frosts start to, well, when frosts stop completely, you'll find that your cooler areas may become your much warmer areas of the garden. So yeah, in this video I'm gonna just tour around the garden, both my new front garden with the new layout and the existing back garden, and show you where my cooler and warmer areas are. So let's go and have a look. So starting at the very front of the garden, yes, to mind my shadow because the sun is behind me. So on this left hand side we are bathed in sun. So this is partly the reason why this Canary Island date palm has been planted in this position, so that it can get that early morning sun on there. But when we look across to this side of the garden, you can see we're still frosty. So on this side I've got the hardier shrubs. So I've got things like the choisias, two different varieties of choisias. We've got the Trachycarpus fortunei, which will take it a little bit colder anyway, and the Portuguese laurel. So this also shows the butea here. So basically the top of it is in the sun already. So just to give you guys an idea, it's about 20 past 8 in the morning. So you can see the top of the butea is bathed in the sunshine. The bottom at the moment is still frosted. But the way this has been planted, it's been planted on a hump on there. It's mainly to allow drainage, so extra water to move away from the butea so it doesn't sit in water. But it also helps actually to allow the frost and the cold air as it kind of comes down from the sky overnight. It helps. You've got to look at frost as if it's kind of like almost like water in the way it flows. So it will pool in cooler areas and lower areas of the garden. So by raising this up, it effectively means that the cooler air will kind of slowly drift down the drive. So we can see there's a bit of sunshine there, so you probably can't see very well actually. It's right where I wanted to show you. This is a bit better. So the jungle hut's actually in quite a cold location on there, and you can see I've got one of my thermometers on there which I use to record the temperatures. So you can see on the front lawn here, so this side of the garden, the drive side, is much warmer here than the other side, which is protected by the hedge as well. So These plants will obviously get early morning sunshine, which is great. And because the house is south facing, obviously the front of the house, roof wise, all the frost is lifted already. You can see my dog barking in the window. So the topiary is obviously getting bathed by sunshine, and you can see it still emphasises the other side of the garden is still frosty. Any areas that are in the shade, you can see here, are cooler for a little bit longer, but as the sun comes up, that will then lift. So let's go and have a look at the back garden. We're in the back garden now, and you can see that the sun is kind of working its way around the garden. And similar to the front garden, the left hand side here, which is on the western side of the garden, actually shows obviously everything's in sunlight, apart from the kind of the little clearing area at the back there, which does get a little bit more shade. The long lines that are the long shadows that are across the garden there are from the Italian cypress trees, which look pretty cool. And you can see even in the early morning here, the buteas and this waggy palm gets bathed in sunshine. So it doesn't take long for temperatures to come up in this area. Although I'd say in this kind of corner here, it's protected from the back of the house here. So this means this is quite shady all day. So things like, for instance, this fatsia, not going to be a problem with temperature and everything like that, and they prefer the shade. So not really an issue. But I wouldn't plant something in a pot there that is really susceptible to the cold, because it will probably kill it off. So one thing that I want to point out here is, as you've probably seen from some of my other videos, I have two ponds, and you can see this pond here, which is frosted over at the moment. It's just got a little bit of a crust on it, so not amazingly like frozen solid or anything like that. But this one is kind of open to the sky here, and it's nearer, although it's nearer the house, it's in a very shady area. So that's why the temperature has obviously helped freeze that. Now, I have another pond up here, which has been featured in other videos, and it is beneath a sycamore tree and another tree, which I think is a hawthorn, on there. And because it's underneath that canopy, even though it's kind of branches and sticks, the pond is not frozen at all, which is great. It's partly the reason why I put this gunnera in here, and the tetrapanax, which I kind of covered the stem a while ago, but it's obviously not covered now. And yeah, so these, with the overhead protection, these are doing really well in this location. I've got a second fatsia that I bought the other day, which is going just in the right hand one. Got for the bargain of £5 from one of my local nurseries. So that's going to be planted today. With the overhead protection and that, this path hasn't frozen particularly much today. And with all the plants around it, they help to protect and create that microclimate. But if we literally just look over here, you can see we have quite hard frost on the floor here. So obviously the temperature's a little bit lower in that location at the moment. Whereas opposite, you can see that whole bed is just bathed in sunshine, which is why I've got the butea palm on that side, and is doing really, really well, and things like the bananas and stuff. So yeah, so you can really see the difference with the way the frost has kind of pooled in particular areas. Any open areas like the middle of that lawn will be particularly cold at night because it's got no overhead protection and not really any plants near it. Whereas kind of locations sort of like here, it does get that protection. Let's just have a quick look at the other side of the garden, which is a little bit warmer, although there is one cool spot that I want to show you. So we're just behind the pond area here, and you can see there's still frost on this path. You see my footprints from earlier on. So this area, because of this flower bed here, which provides kind of privacy in the summer, the sun doesn't get through to the grass on this side first thing in the morning. So yeah, so this area is a little bit cooler, but the area over here near the hedge is a lot warmer. So the hedge obviously will start to heat up in the sun and start to throw out a little bit of heat. And you see the Fatsia there doing well. And the semi-wrapped bananas, again, because it gets that early morning sun and sun most of the day before it goes behind this hedge, we will get green leaves starting to appear. Look at the moment, you can see a bit of the green on the stem here. No, I don't think there's any ones emerging yet. But I leave a lot of this material just to help protect the stems on this. This is my biggest group of bananas. So it just, yeah, helps to protect those. My other ones, which are slightly smaller clumps, I've wrapped a bit more thoroughly. So yeah, that's the tour of the back garden. Yeah, hope you've enjoyed watching the video, and please don't forget to subscribe and check out my other videos. Starting to build up a good collection now, which covers most areas of the garden, and I will see you on the next video.